2004 by the government of former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Now, how does it work? We have a scheme where the government workers, private sector, and most recently non-organized private sector is incorporated into a pension scheme whereby a certain percentage of your salary is deducted on a monthly basis, set aside in what they call a retirement savings account. That's 10%. 8% is deducted from the worker, and then the government adds 10%. This 10% is calculated from three emolument parameters: housing, transport, and basic salary.
Okay.
And then the same is also deducted from the worker's salary. A total of 18% is now paid into a retirement savings account that is managed privately by pension fund administrators and regulated by a National Pensions Commission, more or less like CBN regulates bank. We have PENCOM, that monitor the activities of what the pension fund administrators do.
Okay, there was a time we heard that federal government borrowed money from PENCOM or something like that. When they save this money,
okay,
what do pension managers do with the money? And if there is any business attached to what they do with the money, if I save 18%,
okay,
am I investing?
Obviously, it's an investment. Of course, pension funds are classified as assets.
Okay.
They're classified as assets. So when we talk about asset, it's something that's supposed to give you a return on investment. So what funds? I want to start from the first question. I'm not in a position to speak for the federal government whether they borrowed money from pension fund.
No, but that would also mean that there is investment by...
Yes, but what I know is that currently, I think pension funds domiciled with different pension fund administrators is about 16 trillion.
Okay.
And that's a huge amount of money. When you consider when the fund started in 2004 up till date, monies are being contributed on a monthly basis, and those monies cannot be left docile. They have to be reinvested so that we could get return on investment. So for instance, I would want to mention the names of pension fund administrators, but if you choose a PFA, that's a pension fund administrator, and then the PFA, the part of the responsibility of the pension fund administrator is not only to collect the funds, but manage and give you good return on investment. So that means if you started, for instance, if you are a federal worker, and then the day you join the scheme, probably the first money that hit your account was, let's say, 5,000 naira. As the year progresses, you discover that the money is no longer 5,000, even though the government is adding on a monthly basis. If you look at a PFA that is doing well, that has a good value proposition, some give as much as 17.5 to 18% per annum returns on whatever you contribute over time. So it's business. So the PFAs have a mandate to collect the funds, invest it in viable platforms, and then give good return on investment as much as good customer support services.
Okay, now we also have issues, because very soon I will be talking about what you do to help people access their money. But we have issues in which people retire, and then to process their money is another task, because I would also talk about state. But you see, federal government staffers retire, but the next moment the PFAs are putting them on another round of stress. Why is that?
Well, I may not be in a better position to speak for the PFAs, but as a consultant and someone who has worked with one of the biggest pension managers in Nigeria, I've come to understand that every issue that is associated or challenges associated with withdrawals are mostly caused by the clients. Let me explain. One thing about pensions is that people will tell you, I keep contributing this money on a monthly basis. I don't have access to it. So why go to stress myself over monies that I will not collect until I retire. Now, some of the major challenges we have is that discrepancy in remittances. Some have name issues, discrepancy in names. Maybe probably the name you used in enrollment may not be the name you are using at the point of retirement. Some, Nigerian, I've met a client who has 5 different ages. And when you ask him, he will tell you it depends on where I went to work. So I had to alter my age so that I could fit into the work. So issues like this will always come up at the point of withdrawal. And so what we always tell clients is the same way you manage your bank account, your pension account is as important as your bank account, especially for federal government funded agencies. What I mean by that is people, yes, their mode of withdrawal is a little bit different from the people in the private sector. For somebody in a federal government funded agency, retirement age is either 35 years of service or 65 years. Sometimes 60, depending on your place of work. So some of them will say, oh, I still have a long time to work. So when it gets close to my retirement, I will go and sort issues. But you discover that there are some issues that you cannot sort even in 2 years.
Wow.
Yes, there are some issues you cannot sort in 2 years, depending on the complexity of such issues. So if you had, while you were in service, you were doing the needful, you wouldn't find such problems at the point of retirement. For instance, federal government workers, a year before retirement, you're supposed to go for an enrollment. Thank God PENCOM has decentralized the enrollment. Before, it used to be zonal. The Cross River zone, the northern zones, you will go to your zonal offices and enroll. Now it has been given to the pension fund administrators to carry out. And it's done a year before retirement. Now, you cannot do the enrollment if you have discrepancy on your records. And right now, there's an exercise that has been ongoing since 2019. It's called a data recapture exercise. Prior to 2019, data, was stored in an analog form. And so PENCOM decided to upgrade to what they call ECRS, that's Enhanced Contributor Registration System. So what that means is every data that you provided before 2019 had been wiped off the system. And so you have to go and update. And of course, since the pension scheme started in 2004 till 2019, a lot of things must have happened. Probably you may have changed your next of kin, you may have changed employment, your age had increased, your residential address must have changed. So PENCOM says, come do this data recapture, update your record so that you will have a seamless process at the point of retirement. Thank you.
Okay, so now you have just brought up a lot of issues. Okay. And so many people don't even have this kind of information.
Okay.
And then do we have a PENCOM office in Akwa Ibom State?
No.
Okay.
Yes, we don't.
What roles or how do people access this PENCOM and do their work, get themselves enrolled? Okay.
Incidentally, we have a PENCOM office in Calabar. That's like a zonal office that fits the states, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and the nearby states. Now, we have pension fund administrators. I think currently we have about 22 of them. And I think only 2 don't have offices in Akwa Ibom. Apart from that, the rest have offices. Although most of them, they lack brand visibility because they hide in banks. So you hardly know they exist. Why they stay in banks is they are custodian. There's what they call a custodian, pension fund custodian. And so most times a custodian oblige them space. So if you have any challenge, like I said, the same way somebody withdraws money from your account, you get a debit when you did not authorize the debit. And then you walk up to your account officer and tell the person, sir, somebody has debited my account. I want to know why. Or probably you see some discrepancies in your account. You just walk up to your pension fund administrator and tell the person, sir, I want to see my statement of account from the day I joined. The essence of your pension manager coming close to you is so that he will be able to solve your problems. So I would encourage retirement savings account holders to make friends with their pension managers, even while they are still in service.
Okay, then possibly before we talk about how a consultant helps and what a consultant does to ease the work of a pensioner, okay, and maybe possibly a pensioner. What happens to people who retired and possibly at the point of registering,
okay,
they were given pension managers that they never wanted? Can somebody change his PFA, and what are the processes?
Okay, it's quite very simple. I'm laughing because you said somebody was given a pension for administrator that he never wanted. You know, the truth is,
I never knew anything about.
Never knew anything about. You see, Nigerians, I wouldn't say are docile. If I use that English, it might be somehow demeaning. But I want to say that we don't like fighting for our rights. From day one, the Pension Reform Act says nobody has the right to choose a pension fund administrator for you. It's in the act. You know, naturally, they say if you want to hide something from a black man, put it in a book. I don't buy that. The Pension Reform Act is very clear. Even online, you can see that a section of the Pension Reform Act says willingly choose your pension fund administrator. And so, in 2020, immediately after COVID, you know, PENCOM opened the transfer window. What I mean by that is an option was given: choose any pension fund administrator. Peradventure you were in one and the person has not been, or the PFA has not been doing well, you can move. And the procedure is very simple. The first thing is you start with the data recapture exercise that I talked about earlier. Without the data recapture exercise, you will not be able to move. And it's simple. Just, you don't even need the consent of your current PFA to move. What you just do is, when you do a data recapture exercise, meet the receiving PFA, get a form for transfer, fill the necessary form, and then they will give you, you do a thumb print. The thumb print is to ensure that you're not being coerced, that you're the one, you know, who is moving. And then as soon as you thumb print, PENCOM will give you a notification, and then even without the consent of your current PFA, you move to the next PFA.
Wow. Okay, so why do people still complain? Is it that lack of information?
Well, complaint is normal. In you know, you cannot satisfy everybody at the same time. Of course, even in the contributory pension scheme, you could see that the mode of engagement, especially at the state level, is low. If you look at the status of implementation in the states, you know, the scheme covers state governments. But what we have mostly now is the organized private sector and federal government workers. But in 2014, it was reviewed. States are supposed to be part of the contributory pension scheme.
Is there any state
Yes.
at the moment that is running?
Yes, there are states. In fact, Cross River just
signed up.
Yes, and then Bayelsa has been on it. Edo has been on it for a while, and then Rivers, even though they've not been very regular in remitting, but they're on the contributory pensions. And then one of the states with the highest level of implementation is Lagos State. You know, and so we have a lot of states in Nigeria that are already on the contributory pension scheme. There are a lot of challenges, you know, associated with the scheme, but these challenges are not insurmountable. They are not challenges that cannot be taken care of. So it depends on what your challenge is. For every problem, there is always a solution. You know, but sometimes impatience does not allow people to get to the root of every matter, and then they just conclude, oh, the CPS is not good, PFAs are not doing well. And then most times, it could interest you that you could meet a client who is with a very good PFA, and then he wants to switch to another PFA, because what we do naturally is the value proposition is what are supposed to attract you to a pension manager, not whether my father is the owner of the PFA or whether my uncle works there. Do you understand? What you need at the point of retirement is more money, and who gives you more money should be a PFA that is doing well with your the assets. You know, but someone can say, oh, I'm with so PFA. The person has not. I saw my colleague with umbrella. They've not given me umbrella, so I want to move to the one that gives me an umbrella. You know, it's more or less of a knowledge gap. You know, there's a wide knowledge gap, you know, in the pension industry. So we've come in to bridge that gap.
Okay, very soon we'll be opening the phone lines 0701 555 8888 0701 555 8888. James is the CEO of Abic Consulting Limited. Abic Consulting Limited is a tax consulting firm. Pension firm. Somebody sending a message here and is asking how to calculate your pension. What's that? How do we calculate our pension, the savings now?
Okay, I think I mentioned it at the beginning of the program. I said it's calculated based on 3 emolument parameters: transport, housing, and basically that means if you earn 100,000 monthly, that 100,000, 10,000 could be transport, 10,000 housing, and then your basic salary is 20,000, making it a total of 40,000. So 8% of that 40,000 is what is deducted as pension, and then your employer adds 10% of 40,000, making it a total of 18%. That's what is deposited in your retirement savings account. Except the person is asking your final salary. You know, in that case, what determines your final salary when you retire is your last remuneration before retirement. 3 months, normally the last 3 pay slips, the last 3 months before you retire is what is used to calculate your final payment. And then your age as at retirement also determines what you get as final salary at retirement.
Okay, Doctor, please put up the phone lines. Let's start receiving calls. But before we start receiving this call, James, you said something about some people say that even the pension managers now places age gap on people. If you are retiring at 65, they share your money between in the next 15 years, expecting you to die at that time. Is it true or yes?
It's not true. It's not true. You see, that's why we are here as consultants. You know, I studied history. And in history, they say rumor occurs when all formal channels of communication have been blocked. You know, so we've come in as a company to bring in that formal communication and then make people understand that these things they hear are not true. Your pension, there's a template for calculating pensions. And this template is set by the National Pensions Commission.
Okay.
So what that template says is, like I told you, what determines your final salary as a pensioner is your age, your account balance, and your final salary. Now, for instance, if somebody has 10 million as your total contributions for 35 years, at the point of retirement, the law says you're supposed to get between 25 to 50% as lump sum.
Okay.
Between 25 to 50%. It can be negotiated. It's not cast in stone. Please, I'm saying it can be negotiated.
Between 25
to 50%.
50.
Yes. That means you could get 25, 30, 35, 40.
Or the whole 50.
Or the whole 50.
So what's the template for the negotiation?
That's what I'm saying. It's your age, your final salary, and your account balance that determines those.
So even a business proposition is not considered?
That's what I'm saying, that it's left between you and your pensions manager.
Okay.
Yes, it's between you and your pensions manager. And I know PFAs, there are plenty PFAs who give 50%. It's just that at the point of retirement, your final salary will be small if you get 50%. For instance, somebody who takes 25% of 10 million, which is 2.5, will not get the same salary as somebody who gets 5 million out of 10 million.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll talk about what you do as a consultant.
Okay.
But let's talk about, can I access, let's see if we can take this call here. Hello. Hello. Oh, network. Can I access my pension fund while still at work?
Well, you cannot access while you are still at work, but currently there is a window. You know, a window opened by the National Pensions Commission for workers to access 25% of their total pensions for the purpose of getting a residential mortgage.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Please, your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is John Buji.
Okay.
I'm calling from Uraipa.
Talk to us.
Please, I want to add.
Hello? Oh, no. John, please, you may have to call us back. There's a jam. Okay.
Okay, so like I was saying, that
It's strictly for mortgage?
it's strictly for mortgage. It's strictly for mortgage, and it's ongoing. I think that window was opened in December 2022, and every active worker who has contributed, both employer and employee, for 60 months, and who has not less than 3 years to retire, is qualified to access that 25%.
Okay. If you are just joining us, James is the CEO of APIC Consulting Limited, number 5 Wellington Bassey Way, Uyo, and he's trying to help us unravel certain, and now the calls are coming in quantum. Which one do I go for first? Okay, hello. Okay, calls are coming in. You are a pension consultant. What do you do? Where does a consultant come in when it comes to pension, between the pensioner, pensioner, and money?
Okay, as consultants, our major responsibility is to bridge the gap between the retirement savings account holder and the pension fund administrator in the place of information, enlightenment, and most especially documentation. Pension is all about documentation. If you get your documents right, they don't have any reason not to pay you or attend to you. And so as consultants, we've been doing a lot, and apart from that, you know, we've assisted a lot of people. You know, some persons even own pensions account and they don't know that at every point they can access money.
Let's see who can talk to.
Okay.
They can access money. Is
Yes.
the keyword. Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, I'm calling from Lower Creek.
Talk to us. What's your name?
My name is Sophie.
Are you a pensioner? Okay. Yes, you were talking about accessing money.
Yes, you know, there are different modes of withdrawal as far as the CPS. You know, my focus is on CPS because we don't have anything to do with the with the defined benefit scheme, which was the old scheme before CPS was introduced.
Hello. Please, can you turn down the volume on your TV so that we can hear you? Okay, please call us back. Yes.
Okay, so I was trying to talk about people owning a retirement savings account and they don't even know their rights and privileges as retirement savings account holders. Now, the law says if you lose a job 4 months after, you can approach your pension manager and get 25% of whatever you had contributed. And at 50, you get another 25%. Now,
At 50 what?
At 50.
Yes.
Even after you have taken 25% and loss of job. That's after 4 months. You've waited for 4 months. You don't have another job. You can take 25% of whatever you contributed. When you get to 50 years, you can take another 25%, and then they automatically place you on a monthly pension.
Okay.
Then, for people, disease benefit applications, that's people who are dead. The next of kin is supposed to approach the pension manager to process the monies on behalf of the person who died, you know, on behalf of the family, so to speak. So most times people get stuck. The kind of documents to use in processing, either 25% lump sum or full access as the case may be, and disease benefit applications. So our job as consultants is that we help you in the documentation process, and then we throw more light on how to access funds in pensions accounts. And then we help people retrieve funds in any PFA as long as they are legal retrievals.
Okay.
Yes.
So, so when people come to you, what are the likely questions and what are the solutions you provide?
Okay. When if somebody approaches us, the first thing we ask is the PFA, probably who's your pension manager. Of course, we have a relationship with all the pension managers as far as Akwa Ibom is concerned, and probably beyond Akwa Ibom. So what we normally do is, if it is something that we can engage, okay, let me give a simple example. When we started ABIC in 2020, we did a lot of enlightenment. We went about, in fact, that was the first time workers heard that there was something like a residential mortgage. We were the first to spill it. We told them your right as a retirement savings account holder is that you can access 25% for residential mortgage. So they were just asking us, where did you get it from? I said, it's in the Pension Reform Act. If you open the act and read it, you will see it. You know. And then we also told them, okay, that the law also says you can switch PFAs, even though the window was not opened at that time. And people started agitating, say, so if it's in the law that we can switch PFAs, we've stayed with a particular PFA for more than 10 years and they are now satisfying us, why can't we move? And so when people came, we had a lot of requests, I want to move, I am here, I want to move to here. You know, and like I was saying earlier, you hear the reason why some people want to move. What to tell them, this is not a good reason enough to move. So we'll call the pension manager and say, we have 5 clients here who want to move from your PFA. Come and engage them. You understand? So we like I said, we bridge the gap between the pension fund administrators and the retirement savings account holder. So that we'll call the person, okay, this is your customer is complaining, he has not been seeing you, he has not been hearing from you. You know, improve your customer support service. And sometimes it solves the challenge. You know? Yes.
Okay. I think I also want to find out, in the course of your work, what do you think has been the simplest, best, most complicated challenge of the pensioner?
I think basically much of the problems we've encountered has been around documentation. Okay. It is one of the greatest challenges that retirement savings account holders are facing. You know, when we talk about documentation, you know, most times, like you said, somebody just woke up, they never understood what they were into. So someone just wakes up, they say, oh, bring so and so document, we want to onboard you on the CPS. And people just go and carry whatever they see, give to their PFAs, because it's the information the PFAs collect is what they will store in their system. And so when it's time for them to approach the people for the money, the document they are bringing and the one the PFA has in the system does not marry, doesn't tally. So those documentation issues are the major challenges we have faced. And of course, we've also seen situations where we're handling one currently where somebody, money was wrongly paid, you know, to a beneficiary, another beneficiary who wasn't the original beneficiary, about 27.5 million. It's been actually, in fact, it has been a recurring thing. Once in a while it happens. And so those are some of the challenges we've been facing. And then most recently, we've been having a lot of issues on the 25% mortgage scheme. Yes, there's been a lot of challenge, you know, in terms of getting to access those funds. The people are going through a lot of stress because of the stringent documentation conditions attached to it. But I think it's something that we'll soon be able to unravel.
Okay. Hello. Good morning. Your name? What's going on? It seems network. Okay. You just said something. But in our clime, in which somebody can get a property to start building without all the necessary legitimate documentations. Okay. Because I know that one of the issues has always been C of O.
Okay.
how do PFAs bypass certain requirements to give people this money, especially C of O, which is almost the most challenging thing?
Yes. Another challenge we have here is, if you go to places like Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Abuja, we have plenty facilitators. What I mean by that is the PMIs, that's the mortgage banks. In Akwa Ibom, we just have, in fact, let me say one.
As the Federal Mortgage?
Not Federal Mortgage, Mutual Alliance. Mutual Alliance, yes. They're about the only company now that is able to facilitate the 25% mortgage. But it's not, it mustn't be a CFO. Initially, we were told to believe that is a CFO, that is a challenge, but there are other substitute documents that are accepted. For instance, they've talked about the irrevocable power of attorney, deed of sales and agreement, and I can't remember the third document, but I think there are other documents. If there is no CFO, of course, we know the CFO is not an easy document to come by. So there are other substitutes. So if you just come to us, it's something that we can assist.
Okay, so let me just take 1 minute and 5 minutes and talk about you as a person. What has been your experience as a consultant? Firstly, as someone who was in the business of working with a PFA, and as a consultant, what have been your own challenge as a consultant?
Okay, I think our greatest major challenge has been...
Let's see if we can talk to this person. Hello.
Hello, yes. This is John calling.
Okay, John, talk to us. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Uraipa.
Because we cannot qualify, we cannot guarantee the safety of this network. Please just proceed and say what you want to say.
Okay, my question goes like this. Mr. James said that the pension fund is being classified as an asset, right?
Yes.
Yes. So that is to say, for every fund that is being keeping, it has a return on investment, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when this is being done, what is the probability that a pensioner is keeping his money in a safe, pension organization?
Okay, I think he has already handled that, but let him just enlighten us.
Two.
Okay, there's another one.
Two, what is the awareness that has been created to the pensioners for them to be fully aware on how to choose a good pensioner?
Okay, is there any other question?
Thanks, that is all for now.
Okay.
I think you wanted to say a good pension fund.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so if you look at the Pension Reform Act, there are different responsibilities assigned to different bodies in terms of keeping pension funds. There is a pension fund administrator, there is a custodian, and there is the regulator, which is PENCOM. So the administrator does not collect money. He only does paperwork, while the custodian is the one that keeps the money. And then if you want to do an investment, PENCOM has an investment strategy department. Any funds PFAs want to invest, they have to pass through PENCOM's approval. And if PENCOM sees that those investments are volatile, they would not allow those monies to be invested. So I can assure you that pension investments are very safe. And if for any reason a PFA is shaky, what PENCOM does is it calls a stronger PFA, take over asset and liability, and then they think the business continues. So your
just like banks.
Just like banks, yes.
Okay, well, unfortunately, let me just ask the director and producer of this program to please allow us take your phone number, because the calls are coming in so much. Let us take your phone number. 5 Wellington Basu. It seems you are the only consultant in the whole of Akwa Ibom State.
Yes, in the whole of South.
In the whole of South. So let's have your number so that a pensioner out there can call you and look at the calls are coming. So what's the number that we can call?
0803
0803
507
3012 Can you take it again?
0803 507
Yes.
3012.
3012.
Yes.
Please, you can call the number since we don't have enough time, but I can assure you I will bring you back. You know, I didn't know this is going to be disengaging, but James is the CEO of Abic Consulting Limited, number 5 Wellington Bassey Way. You can call him on that number we just gave to you. If you have any pension issue, even at the state level, I think he can also advise if he cannot help you beyond advice. James, thank you. Okay, did I just tell you this is my younger brother now? Okay. Okay, so you are doing a lot of good things. We congratulate you. Thank you very much for stopping by. We hope one of these days I'm going to bring you, and then from start we just open the phone lines and people talk.
Please also remind them that we are having an enlightenment program on Comfort 95.1 FM beginning from Monday.
Okay.
9:30 a.m. pension guide, so they should listen and then they can also ask questions.
Beautiful. Okay, so that's it for today. ID James is my name. Esther is already on my neck to come close the station. Please stay tuned. Next week Thursday I return better and even fresher. Stay tuned.
I'll always mention that Focus AM45 is here to inform you, to educate and all that. It is a very, very informative program, very educating program, and also very entertaining. And I'm sure you could see that from today's show. And I'm glad for those who made it to the end of this program. Thank you very much for staying with us till the very end. So this is where we'll be drawing the curtains for today, and next week Thursday again we'll be back 9 a.m. Please save the day and time. Thursday 9 a.m. we'll be back here to give you all that we have to help you. Thank you very much for staying with us. My name is Esther Kwekot once again, and I am the anchor.